Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and we are looking at the first episode of The Penguin. It's a little longer than most shows, about an hour 10, so this may take a little bit of time to get through. This is more of a crime, gangster, Sopranos, Breaking Bad kind of show as opposed to a more comic bookish superhero show. We open with a brief recap of the events that ended the Batman, in which the Riddler succeeded in flooding most of Gotham. Not all of it, but a good chunk of it, especially downtown area. And as the city starts rebuilding and cleaning this up, we then cut a few days after, and it has been announced that with the death of Carmine Falcone, the heir apparent, his son Alberto, will be taking control of the family business. The Penguin drives to his now closed nightclub because, you know, the flooding and everything, and he goes up to Carmine's office. That was the penthouse where he lived, up above the nightclub and the offices there. And taking a sledgehammer, he breaks into the safe, where he finds a big file folder full of blackmail material and a case of jewels. About this time, Alberto shows up, wanting to know what he's doing there, and thinking quickly, he'd already packed the files away. He turns and hands him the jewels, saying Carmine instructed him that if anything ever happened to him, he wanted the jewels to go to Alberto, because you know how the vultures are. They'll come and pick everything clean, and he wanted to make sure that this stayed in the family. Well, Alberto will buy that. Alberto's also an addict of drops, and he has a drinking problem, so it doesn't take long for the Penguin to convince him to sit there, drink, do some drops, and they talk, where he notices Alphonse has Sal Maroni's ring. Turns out when Carmine instigated things to get him put in prison, he took the ring as a souvenir and wears it as a bit of an FU to the Maronis. Keep them in their place. Now it's Alberto's. As they talk, the Penguin opens up and tells him something he probably should have kept to himself about how much he admired this one gangster from his neighborhood, because they're talking about what kind of leader Alberto should be, and he talks about how this guy, he knew everyone's name, said hi to everyone, he was respected and he was loved, and when he got taken out, they held a parade in his honor. Well, Alberto thinks this is the funniest thing he's ever heard. That's so stupid. Patted himself after some local neighborhood guy. And then he realizes that's Penguin's dream. He wants to be respected and admired. And when he dies, they would hold a parade for him to show how much he was beloved by the community. And he just starts ragging on the Penguin about this. And the Penguin pulls out a gun and shoots him. Well, crap. Now he's got a dead body to figure out. And the head of the family, too. Well, he gets a body bag. Apparently they have a lot of them there. Being gangsters, I assume they would. And he starts gathering up all the evidence of what's there. Oh, most importantly, Alberto had been opening up about a new deal he was making about a shipment of a new kind of drug, better than drops. They're going to corner the market on it. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, Penguin starts to take out the evidence first and sees some lowlifes trying to carjack his tires and hubcaps. So he starts shooting at him, chases him off, except for one who he catches. This kid has a bit of a stutter. And Penguin, having a bit of a limp, has a bit of sympathy for him. And well, he's going to need some help anyways. So he takes the kid's ID to kind of hold him. And together they maneuver the body into the trunk, along with the rest of the evidence. Then he has the kid drive. He's never had a driver. It's kind of nice. And they start talking, and it turns out the kid grew up in the same neighborhood the Penguin does, and they start talking about this place and that place, where they and the slush puppies at this one place. And have you ever tried it with all the flavors mixed? No. Well, you know, you should. Okay, first stop is at a place where there's a lot of transactions doing money for certain activities that ladies or men might indulge customers in. And he talks to one of them called Eve, and he needs an alibi. Could she say he'd been here all night? She said, I can say you were here from 10 o'clock on till morning. Good enough. Then let's see. What happened then? Then he burns the evidence. They get some food, and then they go to a junkyard, and they move the body to a car. And at this point, Penguin's going to kill this kid. The kid's begging him not to, and then he considers things and says, you know, he really should, but the kid's got something. Maybe he can work for him for a while. So they indulge in cigars and watch the sunrise. Then they go back to Penguin's place. He's not to touch anything. If anything's moved, he'll know. And the Penguin goes into his bedroom, where we see how deformed his foot is. And you realize he is in constant pain from this. And he hides Sal Maroni's ring. Next, he goes, after a bit of rest, he has the kid drive him to the plant where they make the eye drops. And he checks things out. And, well, a lot of the drops were, you know, retrieved from the flooding, so they're all wet. But Penguin doesn't think that'll really cause much problem with selling them. They're addicts. They'll take whatever they get. He also takes some of the blackmail material he'd absconded with and puts it in an envelope, writes a little message, and sends it out to one of the city councilmen. Then he gets called to the family estate. So the kid drives him out of Gotham to this palatial estate. Might even put Wayne Manor to shame. Although, in this incarnation, Wayne Manor is abandoned. It was turned into an orphanage. That's right. Bruce lives on top of Wayne Tower. Anyway, and they go there, and he is informed by the other powers of the family that they are going to be moving the plant out of Gotham into one of the neighboring not suburbs, but one of the satellite towns. You know, like how you know, New York will have different boroughs. They're going to move it out of Manhattan to like Queens or Brooklyn. You know, that kind of thing. Penguin's against this. There's not going to be as many customers. They can still sell this. Nah. They're going to move it. And then he starts talking about he's got this new drug coming in that could revolutionize the business. Basically taking over Alberto's plan. They're not that interested, but he wants to show it to him when it arrives, fine, but he's got 48 hours to get this move completed. He's like, okay. Then Carmine Falcone's daughter, a legitimate daughter, Sophia, walks in. Penguin's a little surprised to see her. Last he had heard, she was in Arkham Asylum. a small matter of killing some people. But no, she's out now. And she wants to know if he's seen Alberto. No, he hasn't. Really? Because he was going to the nightclub that you own. Or I should say, that you run, and we let you think you own. Here's another little dig into him about how, yeah, he makes the money, but Hill's never going to be one of them. Anyway, he's like, no, didn't see him. And as he goes to leave, she asks him to meet her for lunch. She wants to talk things over with him. And so they go to lunch, and he's very nervous because she is really scary. I mean, it's funny because she's this tiny little young lady with these big anime eyes. And the bigger her eyes get, the scarier she looks. She's not all there. And even she knows it. But anyways, and when they're talking, she's wanting to know how he knew about the shipment. Only she and Alberto knew about that. And he feigns shock. He thought only he and Alberto knew about it. He was working with Alberto on it. She'll buy that for the moment. Ask him if he went to his nightclub. No, he didn't go. And gives him some cryptic warnings about things. And they leave. Now, at this point, things are looking a little hectic. So he has the kid drive him out of Gotham to one of those little neighboring boroughs, to this little house where he unlocks the door to go in. That's his mother's residence. His mother seems to be suffering from dementia, so she's not always there. He complains she's not taking her meds. He found them in the bathtub. Well, that's where I was taking them, but they were in water, and they're all still there. And he gets to finally take her meds, and he's telling her, he introduces her to Vic, and says he's got to go out of town. Vic's going to take care of her, so she needs to pack some things. And she's like, don't play me for a fool. What's going on? And he hems and haws, and then finally confesses he killed Alberto. And he knows it was a stupid thing to do, and it's a screw up. But he did it, and now he wants to make sure she's safe. She's like, I don't have to go anywhere. And don't feel bad about it. You did not screw up. You took initiative. You're making your move. You are going to be the big man I always knew you were going to be. Well, it's quite a bolster to him. Then they stay for a while and watch, I believe it's Gilda. And Penguin's quite taken with Rita Hayworth, as are most people. He then sets up a plan with Vic. Vic's a little unsure about it, but he's like, hey, just do as you're told. Keep your phone on. Next, he goes to visit Sal Maroni in the pen. Hey, Clancy Brown! Anyways, he's telling him this story about how he's not respected by the Falcones. They're doing him over. And he'd like to offer his services to Sal and Sal's family. They're moving their entire drop plant. He's handling it, so he knows the time schedule and the shipments and everything. And if they were attacked and he was knocked unconscious, nothing they could do about it. And then the Maronis could corner the drops market. Oh, he's not going to trust the Penguin. Everybody knows Penguin would sell out his own mother for a nickel. It's too many people he's double-crossed over the years. They're not going to go with it. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll be back in a couple of days. You think about it. Oh, and here. And he hands him his ring, the one he took from Alberto. Oh, where'd you get this? Doesn't matter. Just look at it as a token to say, maybe I'm not not exactly what you think I am anyways. And then he leaves. Well, he's driving back to the nightclub. Oh, who's there? Sophia, Falcone, and some men. Which time we get into a car chase, and the Penguin's constantly calling Vic. Vic's not picking up. It keeps going to voicemail. Damn it! Told that kid to keep his phone on. Anyways, he runs into an area where he can't get through. So basically a market, farmers type market, you know, lots of food stands. He can't drive through it. So he jumps out of the car. They pull up. He's obviously gone into the market. They run into the market. He hadn't. He was in the trunk. Gets out, gets back into his car, but one of them had stayed behind. We get a nasty fist fight. And the Penguin basically uses a cigarette lighter from the car as a weapon, and it's nasty. And then when he goes to shoot the man as he's stumbling away, he gets hit by a school bus. Oh, okay. Penguin can get away now. No. Then when the henchman comes up and just bashes him in the back of the head. He wakes up in one of the hothouses on the Falcone estate. He is naked and strapped to a chair. And Sophia is very disappointed in him. She knows he was at the nightclub that night. And she pulls up one of the carjackers. She says, you see, Oz, the problem with wearing purple suits and your plum-colored car is it's very distinctive and very noticeable. Now, he gave me quite a story. He's lying. He's lying. He is? Yeah. Okay. She shoots and kills the kid. Then she has her henchmen start to torture Penguin in a very nasty but simple way that was hard to watch. He's like, ugh. Yeah, they were showing it too. She wants, and she's asking him these weird questions. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you? Do you think I'm crazy? Tell me. Scary stuff. And then they hear this car just barreling through the gates, and it slams into the steps at the front of the estate. And they go to check. No driver. There's a cinder block strapped onto the gas pedal. They go around to the back. Trunk's not locked. They open it. There's Alberto's body. Part of his pinky is missing. You know, the one that where the ring on. And on the inside of the trunk lid says payback. Wow. Obviously the Maronis killed Alberto. Oz is let go. He meets up with Vic. They have those combination slush puppies he was talking about. And he tells Vic, when Vic shows some concern about what they're getting into, and lets him know it's okay. Everybody's going to see Maroni wearing that ring around the prison. And when word gets back to him about Alberto's death and Maroni's being blamed for it, and that Alberto had the ring, he'll take credit for it. Of course he will. He's not going to say the Penguin did it and gave him the ring. But now he'll know the Penguin can be someone to work with. And so basically, he's going to pit both families against each other, take the shipment himself, and gather up the pieces after they've destroyed each other. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent first episode. If you like I said, The Sopranos or Breaking Bad or Peaky Blinders, I think it was called. you'll probably like this. It's in that same vein. It is very much a organized crime show. You don't, I mean, no cops, no Batman. It is very much Penguin's climb to power. In the comics, he became the owner of, the Iceberg Lounge, as he was in the Batman. But I mean, he was the owner, and he was also the basically the broker for the city. Any gangs or families that wanted to do business with each other, or anybody that needed something, they would come to the Penguin, and he would broker a deal, taking a cut himself. That was how he was presented in the comics when they revamped after no, it was before New 52. It was before No Man's Land, when they had that whole thing. They basically revamped him into a more workable villain than he had been as just a gimmick criminal as he'd been through most of his career. Same way they've revamped the Joker and the Riddler. Although the Joker was done first, and Denny O'Neil just made him the exact same way he had been in the early Batman comics, and he's just gotten more loony as the thing's gone on. But yeah, I've always liked this incarnation of the Penguin, where he's a very smart gangster who likes to dress well and play sides off against each other to maintain his stature. Anyway, first good episode. Sadly, we have to wait till the 29th for the second one. But yeah, this is going to go on into November, so looking forward to seeing how this works out. And I'm really digging Sophia Falcone. She is the most fascinating character, and she's crazy but seductive, and smart, and just you never quite know what to expect from her. So yeah, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.